Hello and welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. If you're new, my name is Elena and I'm the homeschooling mama to 3 kiddos. And here on my channel we talk about everything from homeschooling to homemaking and all the things in between. Today is a collab hosted by Abby from Rooted in Rest and Jessica from the Waldock Way, and we're going to be talking about homeschool enrichment. Today we're talking about homeschool enrichment, and I'm going to give you kind of what my interpretation of it is and let you know why this video is probably going to be a little bit different than the other collab videos. In the collaboration, they've asked us to bring you along during our homeschool enrichment time. For us, we don't really have a homeschool enrichment routine or rhythm that we do on the regular, and this is why I think it's a little bit different for us. My interpretation of homeschool enrichment is just something that brings a little bit more of a study, or a little bit more than just your basic core subjects you think about when you think about schooling. So when you think about core subjects for schooling, reading, writing, arithmetic, right? These are things that we often think about, and then we go into science, geography, history, and those kinds of things. And then you have the other quote unquote enriching subjects where you can do tea time or nature studies, artist studies, for us maybe even movie studies, anything that is going to dive in deeper into a particular topic and isn't necessarily done at a table or with a worksheet or workbook. While I have envisioned having poetry tea time on the regular, it isn't something that worked out well for my family and our little school. And I had to come to grips with that and be okay with it. And I can honestly say at this point in the game, or at this point in the school year, I am okay with it because I'm kind of seeing what works well for this school year. That doesn't mean that next school year it won't work out for us, or even the year after that. I'm just sharing what's working for us this particular school year in this particular season of our lives. So I homeschool a 9th grader, which is technically high school where we are, and then I also have a 3rd grader and a kinder first kind of hybrid. My youngest son is on the autism spectrum, so we kind of have a hybrid schooling grade for him. So while rhythms and routines do work well for our homeschool, I haven't been able to get a set tea time in, or even a set enrichment time. So let me share with you first some of the things that we've done that I would consider part of our homeschool enrichment. One of the things that we enjoy doing when the seasons allow is going out on a little bit of a nature walk right after breakfast. So we like to have our breakfast, and then I will take the kids and have them get dressed and brush teeth and get ready for the day, and then we go outside and enjoy nature. This can be a simple walk around the block, or a walk around a few blocks, or we're incredibly blessed enough that we are close enough to a small park and we can actually walk there and enjoy either the trail that they have at the park, or sometimes just playing on the playground for a little bit. I'm sure you can hear my kids. They're usually always right next to me, so I apologize for the background noise, but I am a homeschool mom and my kiddos are usually nearby. So we'll go on a walk, and these can be super simple things where we're just pointing out the leaves that are changing colors, or the lack of leaves on the trees, or the blooming trees. We've seen different birds. We've done observations of just all the different colors and changing things that are happening as our seasons change. Now, we do go on seasonal walks or nature walks when the colder weather hits, but it is a lot harder, especially when the winds are picking up and it is just ice cold outside. We typically don't get them done and we don't get out, which is why it's not a set kind of enrichment time for us. We get to it when we can. Sometimes we're taking clipboards and notepads and writing down our observations, and sometimes we're just walking and enjoying the observations. It doesn't always look the same for us, which was why I was hesitant also to kind of put together a walk with us. It doesn't always look the same for us, and for me, I'm learning that's okay. It doesn't have to look the same for everyone, which is another great thing about homeschooling. Everybody's homeschool is unique to their home, and it changes. For us, I'm finding that seasonally things change often, not just with life, because life has a way of being lifey, but with our seasons things will change as well, especially these nature walks. So sometimes in the colder months we will do a tea time, or more than likely a hot cocoa time. So if I'm letting the kiddos get out and play, if it snowed, they go out and play in the snow, they come in and they know that typically they get to enjoy a good mug of hot cocoa with marshmallows and maybe a treat or a snack. I try try to time this when they would usually have their snack time, and that kind of coincides with our tea time. So even if they're not going out to play, this is typically a snack time, and I will offer up tea or hot cocoa if we've been out in the snow and playing. And this is just a time for us to kind of sit and chat and check in with each other. Usually schoolwork is done for my littles by this time, and sometimes my oldest, being in high school and having a bigger workload, may have some things that he's still working on, and this is just kind of more of a catch-up time for us during the day. And honestly, this part of the day doesn't always happen, and some of the reasons this part of the day may not always be happening is because I also try to fit in a workout. Sometimes it is getting into that time when I am working out and the kids are going ahead and having their snack time. Or sometimes, honestly, at this point in the day, mama just needs a break. What I mean by that is that our family is one that doesn't have a lot of outside help. In fact, we have very little to none outside help, and that's okay. That's just what we are learning, that God has for us right now and has had for us for several years. And so we have to be very intentional about restoring energy and kind of getting ourselves ready to go for the next half of the day for myself. So if I see that I'm just lacking on patience and I am just needing desperately to have a reset, that tea time or snack time can become a quiet reading time for us. And so they are allowed to get their snacks, but I would like for the kiddos to just have some sort of quiet time so that I can get 5-10 minutes of quiet too, and just kind of reset and prepare myself for the remainder of the day. So again, not something that we're doing on a regular basis every day, but we try to fit it in when we can, when energies will allow, when life just isn't as hectic maybe, and that's when we're getting it in. So we go through like these roller coasters and these periods of times when we are having consistent tea times or hot cocoa times, and then we have other times where we just are not able to fit it in. And same with the nature walks. So we fit in what we can when we can. And I really just wanted to join in and make this video for those of you that may find yourself in my situation, where maybe you have this longing to have this really special enrichment time in your homeschool, and you're kind of feeling like you've let the kids down or you've let yourself down. Or dare I say, sometimes I even felt like I was failing because I wasn't getting all the things in that I wanted us to do. And all the things can't happen all the time. And that was something that I had to learn, and I had to give myself grace for and accept. And now I'm so happy that I'm at the point where I kind of am accepting that sometimes enrichment times are looking really cool and they're looking like these great nature studies or these great nature walks, where they have these very intentional tea times, and I think they're lovely and it's so great and we're all having a blast. And sometimes it's just quiet time in the house because that's what our season is calling for. Fit it in when you can and give yourself tons of grace on this part, because like I said, maybe you feel like me, maybe you don't, but in case you do and you're feeling a little hard on yourself because you can't fit this in on the regular, fit it in, like I said, when you can, and that's okay. We have tried a lot of different varieties of enrichment. I think we did try doing morning time and like a morning basket, and it just didn't work for our family. For some reason, it just wasn't with the flow for us. So our morning time looks a little bit different too, but I know that a lot of families are able to make morning baskets and morning time work. I'm sure that there may be some collaborations on, or some videos on this collaboration that will share that with you. And maybe one day I'll make a video and explain more why it doesn't fit so well for our family, and that it's okay if it doesn't work for yours either. Another enrichment idea though, if you are looking for some that I wanted to throw out there, is very simply drawing from the inside. So previous to this place, we were in a very small upstairs apartment, and we didn't always have access to a yard, and when things were shutting down, we didn't always have access to going for walks around the neighborhood. One of the things that I would do was allow my kids to go out on the balcony with me, of course, and they would draw. We had this big tree that was next to us, and At that time, we were in Southern California, so the trees didn't change that much, but the skyline would with the clouds and things like that. And so I would have them draw just what they saw out on the balcony there. And that is a great little kind of enrichment activity where you can introduce art into it, and it makes for great conversations as well, because you can pick just one square and have them draw that area out, and then the next day or even later that day, go back out and draw it again and see how it's changed. And then talk to your kids about it. On days when weather would not permit for us to go out, either it was way too hot, or we had a rare Southern California rain and they didn't and it wasn't covered for us, so we couldn't go out, they were able to draw from the door, the sliding glass door, right on the inside there. And that was a project that actually my daughter found that she really loved to do. She was able to just kind of sit off to her side. We had a little rug or a little blanket set out for her, and she could sit there and draw nature, and it was something that she just really enjoyed. I do want to share with you, for some of the art studies or art time, enrichment time, I will share with you one really great resource that we have found. It is called You Are an Artist. I will link them down below. It's not sponsored in any way. I don't even think I have a referral link or anything like that, but I really love them. The woman that teaches is endearingly called Nana, and she is just, I just think she is the sweetest thing. And she has lots of different classes for chalk pastel. And this was such a saving grace for us, especially when things were closed down. And quite honestly, when things get really hectic, I find that art is such a great escape, or a great way to channel things onto paper and maybe just take a break. I don't know. I just feel like there's so much healing that is happening when we're learning to do these things and when we're doing something with our hands. And so this has been a great tool for us, all the way from my high schooler down to my youngest. She has either a membership program where you can do it by month and pay monthly or annually, or you can just buy a particular class. But she makes it very simple for you to do chalk pastels, and this is a great activity for you to sit and do with your kids as well. So like I said, I'll link them down below, but that was also another big help to us. And of course, last little tidbit, if there's a homeschool enrichment that you want to do, but you just can't find the time to carve it out for just you to plan it out at home as the parent and teacher, you can always join up maybe a co-op or another smaller group. If you just go online, use your favorite web browser and search up homeschool enrichment classes near me. There are, I found, tons of stuff usually that are offered up on there. So don't be afraid to utilize those tools and classes if that is something that you are able to do. And for us right now in this season, classes and extra co-ops are not working for us. That's a whole nother video. If maybe you want to hear about why we don't co-op, comment down below and I'll share with you why that hasn't been working for us for quite some time. It may, like I said, change up in the future. We're always open to taking things as it comes and switching things up. But for now, it's just not been something that works well for us. And again, I know that is probably not quote unquote the norm for homeschoolers. And so if that is you also, I want to encourage you that that's okay. That your school absolutely doesn't have to look like everybody else's school. It is this big, beautiful part of homeschooling. So thank you so much for watching, spending your time and hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for Abby and Jessica for hosting this collab. It has been so fun these past months being able to share some of our homeschool adventure and journey. If you're not already a subscriber and you want to know more about us, maybe check out some of our other videos here on the channel. Like I said, we talk about everything from homeschooling to homemaking, a little faith and fitness, and anything else really that falls in between there in our life. If you're already part of our little YouTube family, thank you so much. Honestly, I know I say it every time, but I really appreciate you joining us along for this little journey. Again, thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't heard today, you are deeply appreciated and loved.